I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but you need to stop doing the most. If you're going through a situation in life, and I think everyone's been through this at one point or another, where you feel like you've poured so much energy and time into people and situations that are no longer serving you, that are draining you, that are making you forget who you are, then take this as a sign. My name's Zen, and I'm here to walk you through how to stop being attached. In order to understand why we get attached as humans, we need to understand what attachment is. Attachment is a psychological phenomenon. It's the emotional bond that forms between people. And it doesn't have to be a person. It can be an attachment to a situation, an attachment to a feeling, an attachment to a memory or an experience, an attachment to an object. You may feel like you can be your true self around them, and it makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel accepted, as though you're being heard. Seeing them makes you happy. Hearing their voice makes you happy. Texting them makes you happy. Knowing what they're doing during the day makes you happy. It's almost as if it's like an obsession. Not being around them can make you unhappy. Not hearing from them can make you unhappy. If they take too long to reply, all of a sudden your mood drops. And this can be so detrimental to people who are not secure within themselves and people who have unresolved traumas. If you're at that stage in your life where you feel the need to let go, where you've hit a breaking point, and you just want to leave that baggage here and never look back, then congratulations. And take that leap of faith. Just trust in yourself, trust in the universe, trust in the plan. There are 4 different attachment styles. If you have an anxious attachment style, it could mean that you have abandonment fears, and this can manifest itself in clinginess. You could emotionally be very up and down. It could be hard for you to regulate your emotions when it comes to people, relationships, friendships, love. You could feel this feeling that your needs are never quite fully met, and you may overthink about the person's behavior or your own behavior. It's often a negative outlook on oneself. If you have an avoidant attachment style, you could seem distant or avoiding of emotional connection. You may not want to get attached. Loving someone with this attachment style, or being a person with this attachment style, it can often feel like you're chasing. You're always chasing this person. It's like a push and pull type of thing. It is a negative outlook on others. If you have a disorganized attachment style, people might see you as hard to love. You could feel that you're also hard to love. This is because you have difficulty regulating your emotions. You have bouts of erratic anger or rage, often over little things, minor conflicts. If you have a secure attachment style, this is the ultimate goal. You recover quickly from conflicts or confrontations in your relationships and friendships. You feel secure about your position in the relationship. You don't have to fight or force. It kind of just attracts itself to you. You have a trust in yourself, in the universe, and the plan that it has in store for you. You are secure about yourself and you feel good about where you stand in the relationship. And to be honest with you, if this person were to leave you, or if this person were to decide that they no longer want this relationship with you, that you would be fine on your own, because you don't depend on the other person for happiness. So you can have a mix of attachment styles. It doesn't just have to be one. And it's not just romantic relationships. Platonic, romantic, intimate, any relationship. If you want to delve deeper into attachment styles and read more about it, then I would recommend a book called Attachment by Linda Tavakoli. So now that we have a better understanding of what our attachment style is, you can start to stop being attached, because you have to remember that if you got attached to this person, this situation in the first place, then you can detach yourself. The number one step in how to stop being attached, in my humble opinion, is to protect your energy. Be precious and intentional with your energy. Don't allow people to have access to you so easily. Now, this can be tricky if you have an anxious avoidant attachment style. And this goes back to overthinking. Often people who have anxious attachment styles, they tend to worry too much about other people. They tend to care more about other people's comfort and safety and happiness rather than their own. And it's important to tell yourself that you don't need to be everybody's hero. You don't need to be that person who is always giving good advice, who's always there to pick up the phone whenever somebody needs help or advice or a shoulder to cry on or just a trauma dump on you. You don't need to be there for everybody, because you need to conserve some of that energy into healing yourself. Some of that needs to be reserved for you and only for you. You can't give everything to everybody else and then have nothing left for you, because how far is that going to get you in life? Where is that going to take you? What's the purpose of doing that? To destroy yourself for the sake of building up somebody else? What do you have to gain from that? And what I mean by being intentional with your energy, sometimes it just means that you have to cut people off, that you have to break any form of intimacy that you have with this person that you're attached to, that is not serving you a purpose, that is not giving you the same energy back, that is just taking from you or using you, somebody that is not healthy for you, that you can't let go of. You need to cut them off. You need to break that intimacy that you have with them. You need to block them. Just block them. Take their number out of your phone. Delete the photos that you have of them. Remove all contact. Take away every access to these memories that you could come across. Your energy is all you have. It's what makes you you, and you need to protect you. Step number 2 is to address the root cause. Everybody has something that they've had to contend with. Everybody has a trauma or a trigger. Everybody's faced that hurdle in life that they need to get over, this pain that they've experienced. The way that you address this, the way that you acknowledge this, it will really help you to move forward. Address it. You need to accept that there is something wrong. You need to accept that you have this trauma that has been unresolved, that you keep pushing deeper and deeper and deeper down, hoping that it doesn't resurface. But that's not the way that you should approach your traumas. Just because you've hidden it underneath something that's pretty, it doesn't mean that it won't come up again later on in life. You know, it will slowly creep its way back into your life, back onto the surface, until you finally have the courage to say, you know what, this can get chucked in the bin. I no longer need this. I need to address why I'm feeling this way, and I need to work towards how to improve, how to cope better. And you need to also find out what your triggers are. Is it when you are alone, when you're isolating yourself, that you feel the need to cling on to these people, to attach to these people, because you feel as though you don't have anybody around? You feel as though you need someone to hear you out. Is it the way somebody speaks to you? Is this a trigger for you? If somebody is angry and they're shouting at you, do you shut down? Really addressing these traumas and not allowing them to just linger, it will help you to heal your inner child. You need to understand that as a baby, the epitome of your existence is love. This is human nature. You know, everybody feels the need to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved. And as you grow up, you go through certain experiences, you meet certain people who just change your outlook on things, who build certain habits that may not be healthy, that may be suppressing this need inside you to be loved and to give love and to just receive love, to receive the good blessings. So many people fall a victim to just closing that door, putting up that wall. And what that does, okay, it protects you from certain things. It protects you from the bad energy. It protects you from meeting the wrong people. But then it also blocks your blessings from meeting the good people, the people that will help you in life, that will support you, you know, the blessings that naturally want to come to you. You're blocking that out too by putting up that wall. So it's important that you address your traumas and really work on healing your inner child to get the love and the blessings that you deserve. The third step to stop being attached is to understand that nobody has you except for you. Nobody's got your back the way that you've got your back, because nobody knows you the way that you know yourself. And you need to get to know yourself. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know your values, if you don't know your morals, if you don't have your goals set in mind, an idea, a picture of who you want to be, where you want to be, you need to start to figure that out. You need to get to know yourself. And if you think that you know yourself, maybe you don't. If you're always going back to this situation where you get too attached and then you just feel like you need to let go, you know, this feeling of breaking free, maybe you really don't know yourself. Maybe you don't know what you want yet, and that's okay. There is no time limit. Time should be your friend. You should work with time, not against it. What this also means is that you should not rely on others. You shouldn't depend on other people. And it's easier said than done when maybe all your life you've always looked for someone to confide in, that support. Maybe you never had that growing up. So you're always searching for that one thing. You think it's the missing piece. But instead of finding it externally, we all need to look into ourselves internally and realize that we don't need to find happiness in other people. We should be finding happiness in ourselves. That is the key. Everything always points back to you. So you need to understand that you are your biggest supporter. You are your biggest happiness. You are the person who is in control of what happens in your life. You just need to trust in yourself a little bit more. Put yourself first. Number one, not second place, not last place. Always reserve that top spot for yourself and only yourself. Step number 4 is time and space. And I know everybody uses this quote that time heals all wounds. I go through phases where I kind of believe it and I kind of don't. I think it's a mixture of time and just tolerance. You just learn to tolerate shit. You just learn how to shortcut things in life. If you've already been through something before and it presents itself again in a different form, in a form that you don't recognize at first, but then you've been through it before, so you realize, hey, this seems a bit too familiar. I've done this before. I've been through this before. I didn't know what to do at first, but now I know what to do because I've learned from my mistakes. So I can shortcut my success and I can just say, hey, I've been there, done that. Let me just exit this way and move on. And this is how you elevate yourself and build that tolerance to stress. You need to build your stress tolerance way, way, way high so that if there's 2 things that you've got going on in life, it doesn't even faze you anymore. Because you're used to dealing with 10 things at a time. It's just about building yourself up slowly, and eventually you'll reach a point where you're a different person, a better person, someone who copes in more constructive ways, productive ways. I was the type of person who always used to rush things, who always used to force things to happen for me. And in the moment, it seemed like I knew what I wanted and I was just going for it, you know. I was just shooting my shot and I was taking that leap of faith. But in hindsight, when you look back, all the times where I had a little hurdle, maybe bad luck or just a bad turn of events, or it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted and hoped for it to happen, it's because I rushed it. It's because I wasn't being patient. I wasn't giving myself the time that I needed to really think about it. And I just wanted to go for it. Just like that, because I was afraid deep down inside that if I didn't take this opportunity right now, that it would never come again. This good opportunity that's presented itself to me will never present itself again. Like, you only get one shot and that's it. You gotta grab it. And I swear by this, I truly believe in this, that everything is written. Destiny, baby. An opportunity that is truly meant for you will never pass you by. There will be times in your life even where you feel like you're not quite ready, but the opportunity, that door is already open and you somehow walk through and everything turns out fine. In fact, everything gets better from that point. And you didn't even realize you were ready. Maybe you even thought about missing this opportunity, but it just happened for you anyway, naturally, because it was meant to be. And this is the thing, if somebody is mistreating you, or if somebody is walking away from you and you feel like you can't let go, just leave them be. Let them go. They have an option. It's a choice. They can choose to walk away or they can choose to be with you. And if they choose to be with you, that feeling of security is so valuable, and you need to learn to recognize when somebody is choosing you. Don't force anything. Go with the flow and just let go. If you have a lot of high expectations and you set the bar too high, guess what happens? You just get disappointed. It's not a bad thing. It's the reality of life. This is the reality. If you set the bar or the standards or your expectations way too high, this imagination, this thought in your head, this idea, it's an idea, it's not the reality. If you cling on to this, then you're going to get disappointed if the outcome is not the same as what you've envisioned. There's nothing wrong with a change of paths. Life is not a straight line, it's not linear, and you just have to roll with the punches. Give yourself time. Give yourself the space. Distance yourself from these negative people or negative emotions or negative expectations, and just realize you need to relax. Girl, you need to relax. You have good days and you have bad days. This is normal. And I know for myself, when I'm having a bad day, I just want to fast forward onto the good day. I don't want to have to sit here and experience this bad day, because yesterday I was perfectly fine. Yesterday I was happy. The next day, you just feel so low. I know you know what I'm talking about when you have this feeling in your gut, this horrible feeling in your stomach, like something is sinking inside of you, like something is empty, like there's a hole that needs to be filled. This emptiness inside of you, this anxious, nervous, guilty feeling that is so horrible to experience because it doesn't go away and you're not sure why it's there. You're just like, why do I feel like this right now? What can I do? All I can do is distract myself. But I don't want to distract myself too much because I want to be able to feel the emotions, to feel everything that I'm going through. Feel the pain. And it helps you to appreciate the good times because you remember and you think back, look how miserable I was before. I allowed myself to feel this misery, and it helped me to appreciate and look forward to when life goes back up. So instead of rushing things, instead of trying to fast forward, instead of trying to jump to the next step, just take it one day at a time. Just be present within the moment and just live for that day. Don't worry about what will happen in the future, and certainly do not think about the past. Don't even open that door again, because as soon as you open that can of worms, everything will start flooding in at once. All my empaths know this. When we feel things so deeply, and it's not our fault, it's just the way that we were conditioned to behave because of our past experiences and trauma. Step number 5 is to get busy. Get a life. Build a life. Do you. If you feel like you're not productive right now, then you need to get active. You need to start doing things that make you happy. Surround yourself with people who are good for your soul. And you should only open yourself up to opportunities that serve a purpose to you. If you're not happy with your career, if you're really miserable with what you're doing, then switch your job. And I know for some people, especially, the current economic climate that we have nowadays, it's easier said than done. People can't just quit their job and follow their passions. It's sad to say, but it's just, sometimes it's unrealistic. But then see what I'm thinking. I'm thinking in a way that is restricting, that is negative, that is basically saying, I can't do that. You can do that. You can. Give it a go. Just try. Learn about yourself. Find new hobbies. Things that make you happy. Things that make you feel productive. Because what makes humans feel fulfilled is when they feel like they have a purpose. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big purpose. You don't have to be the next Messiah. Maybe your purpose is just doing the little things in life that make you happy. Maybe your purpose is just to live in the moment. Maybe your purpose is just to accept yourself and just to be yourself and figure out what makes you you. This is your purpose, to figure yourself out. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't worry about what that person who you're trying to get detached from is doing. You have already blocked them at this point, so you don't even need to bat an eyelid. You don't need to pay no mind to what they're doing. Focus on yourself. Build yourself. Go get a life. Go and do you. Go outside and do things that are out of your comfort zone. And slowly but surely, you will build that tolerance and be able to conquer more things than you think you could. Because you're just going out there and doing it. You're practicing how to live your best life. Just see it as that. If you ever go through an experience where you feel like you've been set back or that you've been knocked down, just get back up and say, hey, I'm just practicing how to live my best life. Do not compare yourself to others. Rebuild yourself away from the noise. Don't get overly consumed with what other people are doing, what other people have going on, because that's not for you. Step number 6 is to make yourself happy. You need to be able to live with yourself, okay? You need to be able to enjoy your own company, to sustain yourself, to trust in yourself, to be honest with yourself. Treat yourself how you would want somebody to treat you. This is a saying that goes way, way, way back. You learn this as a kid. Treat others how you want to be treated. This is a golden rule. We can't forget the basics. You need to do it for you. You need to be your ideal partner. This person that you picture in your head who is loving, who is caring, who is considerate and compassionate, who is an excellent communicator, who puts their pride and ego aside when needed, who has enough strength to fight for you when needed. This is the person who you should strive to be. The person that you're looking for is you. You just need to put those boundaries and practices into play, and eventually you will become the person who you're looking for. You will fall in love with yourself, and you won't feel the need to get attached so easily to these people who do not serve you a purpose. Something that I'm working on at the moment is keeping promises that I've made to myself. If you are a person who has a lot of integrity, then you will understand how important it is to stick to your word, to follow it through all the way until you've achieved what you said you were going to achieve. This makes you credible. This makes you someone who is reliable. And this is a very, very, very valuable trait to find in a person. This is what you want to be for yourself. You need to be able to rely on yourself. And what that means is keeping promises. Today I said I was going to go to the gym because it makes me feel good and I want to look good as well. I want people to see me and think, damn, she's got it. She knows what she wants and she's got it going on. So if you've made a promise to yourself, the best thing you can do is keep that promise. Because if you decide to break that promise that you've made to yourself, then you are just taking pieces of yourself and basically just throwing them away. You are compromising your own values, your own goals for no reason. So if you're going to keep a promise to anybody, then keep that promise to yourself. Another thing that I've learned is to be independent, not to depend on people. The way that I was raised and the traumas that I've faced, the triggers that I have, the depression, the anxiety that I've experienced in life from a young age, it's made me sort of codependent on other people. And this is the thing that I was talking about earlier, where you try to find happiness in others instead of looking for it within yourself. You think that just because you feel empty, that the best thing to do is just fill that hole with nonsense, with people, anything and everything you can find. You just, sometimes that's not the best way to go about it, because you could be full, but you could be full of shit. So be independent and don't rely on other people. People can have their opinion, and if they are somebody who you respect, somebody who you're close with, somebody who matters to you, then you can take their opinion on board. You don't have to be, to be independent, it doesn't mean to dismiss everybody and everything and just be solo for the rest of your life. It just means that you don't rely on other people to make you feel good. That you can go out to places by yourself, that you can do things by yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. Take yourself out on a date. I've done it before when I'm feeling down and I'm just like, I just want to go out to eat, but I'm not going to call anybody because I want to be in my own company and I want to enjoy this moment by myself, with myself, and make these memories that I got my back. One thing that I do, and I've done this since I was a kid, is I talk to myself. When I'm looking in the mirror, when I'm getting ready in the morning, I look in that mirror and I talk to myself. I talk to myself as if I'm somebody else, as if I'm a third person. It's funny because the people who live with me, they're always like, who are you talking to? And I'm just like, me, myself. I'm talking to myself. I'm giving myself that pep talk. I'm reflecting on my day for myself. I am my own best friend, and that is something that everybody needs to experience. Being able to really sit with themselves, talk with themselves, and just live with themselves. Being able to resolve things by themselves. To be able to think to yourself and not be so hard on yourself or judgmental. Talking to myself in the mirror, talking to myself right now. This is therapeutic. It helps. It brings me peace. I don't need somebody else to validate my opinions because I'm so sure of myself. The last point that I have to make is don't fall so easily. You are so valuable that you are worthy of something so great, and you can't ruin that by tainting yourself with these unworthy people. These people who just come into your life, but they're not meant to stay. These people who come into your life just to pass through, and because you're not secure within yourself, because you get attached too easily, anybody that walks past, you just grab them and you're like, hey, be in my life, be there for me, let's be friends. Oh, maybe this is chemistry, maybe I feel something for you. It's not always the case. Don't be fooled so easily, and don't fall so easily for people and words. Always look at the actions, and if someone is showing you their true colors in their actions, believe them the first time. If you are a kind person, then you may give them a chance, but just remember, if you're giving them a chance and it is compromising on something that is important to you, if it undermines your values, if it goes against your morals, then there's no point, because you're just losing yourself for the sake of somebody else, and that is not what we're gonna do in this life. So I hope that this has helped somebody. It certainly has helped me to be able to vent like this. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to figure myself out and try to be a better person.
And if it helps somebody else along the way, that is a bonus, and I'm so grateful. So have a blessed day, and I hope that you really take this information on board and just remember that you are never alone. Everybody experiences these feelings, and it's just about finding the right people to talk about this with, and maybe it will help you knowing that somebody else is going through this too, and that you're not alone. And it might also help knowing that other people have been through this and they've come out the other side bigger and better than they were before, and they don't even look back at who they were when they were feeling so low and insecure. If you have any experiences with attachment, if you are currently trying to detach yourself, please leave your story in the comments. It would be really nice to just be able to relate to people and not to isolate yourself when you really need, that care and love.